singers, dancers, and family-friendly activities. There will also be a series of speakers from local churches and schools who will discuss this year's theme, Black Migration. For more information, call 609-383-5100. In Pleasantville, the missionary ministry at Mount Pleasant Baptist Church is collecting personal care items for the Atlantic City Rescue Mission during the month of May. The community may bring donations of soap, washcloths, toothpaste, toothbrushes, and any other items to the church office at Fernwood and Columbia Avenues. Monetary donations are also accepted. For more information, call 609-517-7849. In Ocean City, about boating safety, the U.S. Coast Guard's Auxiliary Flotilla 81 will present boating safety classes from 8:30 a.m. until 5 p.m. on April 27th, May 18th, June 22nd, and July 27th. The program will be held at St. Peter's United Methodist Church, 8th Street and Central Avenue. For information, 609-399-4299 or visit United States Coast Guard Auxiliary, Ocean City, New Jersey.org. And this is happening in Hamilton. Let's Knit Club. Seniors ages 60 and older are invited to bring and work on their knits and crochet projects from 10 o'clock until 11:30 a.m. Fourth Mondays at the Senior Nutrition Site at 310 Bellevue Avenue. For information, 609-645-7700, extension 6537. If your church, school, social, public, or civic organization have an upcoming public service event, WEHA Community Bulletin Board is a great way to get the word out. Send us the information to WEHA Bulletin Board at gmail.com at least 2 weeks in advance, and we will spread the word.
All submissions will be aired at the discretion of WEHA.
All right, and welcome back to Between the Headlines. Welcome back to...
You're going to get it together.
I'm going to get it together to Bishop John R. Gandy Live. And we have in studio with us this morning some guests, a young couple, up-and-coming artist and producer, Mrs. Talasia Showell, who is the artist.
Hello.
And her husband and producer, Mr. Quentin Showell.
What's up, everybody?
Y'all
Hello.
good? Y'all
Yes,
good?
sir.
All right. So it's exciting having you all here.
Yeah, I'm excited.
And we're going to talk about, I guess we're going to talk about, of course, you've got a project out.
Yes.
You also are going to be you have a concert coming up, and you're going to be participating in another concert. Got a lot of things going on.
Yes.
And we'll talk about a little bit of that. But before we get into that stuff, you also are a married couple, a team who's into ministry, and talk a little bit about who you are, let people know who you are, and what is this ministry that you have, and how is it going to bless everybody?
You want me to start?
Yeah, you can start.
Well, like you said, we are Talasia and Quentin. We've been married for 7, almost 8 years now. We've been together for 10 years since we've been in high school. And like when we were younger, I guess we both, we ended up getting married young because we were both very independent young people. Mm-hmm. And we were in church and, wanted to do things the right way. And we had positive examples. And, so we just figured we'd get married, and through a lot of that, we've grown, struggled, been through many ups and downs, but we've been able to find ourselves, and that's been, because of our, training and our leadership and our church home, and.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest things that, has kept us over the years is just being consistently in a church that paid a lot of attention to not only your spiritual life, but your natural life, and paid attention to your growth individually. And I think that was a big part of us not, just allowing our lives to go in any direction, but being more strategic about what we wanted out of our life, and making sure that God was the foundation of that. Mm-hmm. And I think that was a big part of, our journey was just when we were younger, like he said, because we were together since 15 and 16 years old, and we kind of leaned on each other a lot in a lot of different areas. And I think growing up together in church changed it from us leaning on just each other to us finding out how to individually and together lean on God more than we leaned on each other. And finding that space was one of the most I would say, one of the most fulfilling things in our life, because we started praying with each other and we started reading our word together and speaking life into each other, prophesying into each other's lives. And I think that brought us from just, a regular relationship to something that I feel is unbreakable and unmovable, especially because it's founded on God.
That's awesome. And again, you're young people, and that's commendable. So, I mean, you've been together a long time, as half of your lives practically.
Yeah.
Imagine that, right?
Right.
And I'm celebrating 39 years of marriage, so
Congratulations.
That's a great. So, as relates to, let me say this. So, as young people, right, who are in church, and we know, and I think today you're millennials, and I think today with millennials, at least the perception is that there are a lot of concerns with millennials and the church, if not spirituality or God per se, certainly the church or even religion, right? And we're gonna roll with you. We're gonna roll with you. We're gonna roll with you. But at the same time, while we're trying to roll with you and be minister to you in a way that you can understand and receive and speak the language, so to speak, we also have to, as a part of that, the main part of that is teaching you and giving you fundamental, foundational principles that are, and truths that are, there are some non-negotiables in life for people who want to have success. And how does that fit? Because sometimes I get the impression, my impression is, not from you guys or from people, but that's what you hear, that millennials just don't want any input. They want to do their own thing. They're off on their own thing. How does that all work?
I think growing up as a millennial, when we were younger, a lot of times our parents kind of just told us, stay in the child's place, and we didn't get a lot of conversation. We didn't get a lot of reasoning. Everything was just like, you're a child, you're not supposed to understand certain things. And I think that when, my generation, the millennials, got to the age where they're an adult and they can make their own decisions, a lot of that kind of went out the window for them. It stopped being, well, we're not just children. We deserve an answer. You owe it to me to kind of give me an answer and reasoning. And when they didn't get that, I feel like they tried to kind of find their own way. And this generation is different than the generation before us. Now we have so much information just easily available to us. There's Google. You can Google just about anything. And if it's not Google, everything is available at your fingertips as far as information is concerned. And I think that is a great thing and a very dangerous thing because, there's a lot of facts out there, but there's not a lot of truth. And when, you start trying to look into, who you are, even those who grew up in church or know church, the idea of church, when they start to look into who they are, they find a lot of facts that might persuade them from the truth. And the truth of what I'm speaking is the truth of God, the word of God. And, finding that identity as a millennial has been difficult, I believe, for my generation in a way that they're just grasping. They're trying to identify themselves with something that makes sense to them rather than just going to church and being, told to do whatever they were told to do. I think now it's more so you got to give us something more than just you got to go to church.
And it is hard because it's like with so many false teachings and false speakers and perverse doctrines, it's like, who do you believe? Yeah. But I was explaining it to somebody in a barbershop. It's like, yo, you don't go to a restaurant and get served bad food and just never not go back to any other restaurant. Or you don't go to a barbershop never not come back to any barbershop. Well, there's a couple people who do. But you never just not go back to any barbershop. You find one that works for you.
And you still need to be groomed.
Exactly. And it's the same way with your spiritual life and your natural life. Like, you have to find a pastor and a leader and leaders and actual members who are prospering and who are actually living what they talk about and what they teach you. Like, not, you tithe and give me your money. You see the dude running around with a Bentley and everybody else in the church is just like, nah, you got to actually look and use your eyes. Because people tell me that all the time. Well, I go to church and I paid my tithes, and the church, the pastor got a 7 Series Beamer, and everybody else broke in the church. Well, you got to use the eye test. Exactly. You got to use the eye test. So
So those are some reasons for, I guess, the challenges that millennials, I guess, face in terms of continuing in the faith. But you all have continued. Not only have you continued, and there are others like yourselves, but your ministry. Here's what I want to. This is a good place to segue into your ministry, right? In which because what you're saying, and I think what your the ministry and the way you minister and your style of ministry, your style of music, all kind of I think speaks to millennials to try and let them know, give them the message in a way that they can understand it. That makes sense. I'm not a millennial, so I don't know. I don't know how this all works.
Well, that was our idea, and actually, shout out to our pastors and our first ladies, because our bishop and our first lady, because we wasn't even wanting to do music. Like, I'm musically inclined. She's, what'd you say, Steve?
Who's your pastor again?
Bishop John R. Gandy, First Lady Patricia Gandy, 32 New York Avenue, Egg Harbor City, New Jersey.
No, it's Bishop John R. Gandy Avenue now. Put some respect.
Yeah, you're right. But they might have Google
Some
phones.
respect on them.
Respect with a K.
Yeah.
Yeah, but shout out to them. They fully pushed us to do our music because when we didn't want to do it. So and like kind of just developing through our worship sessions, we came up with our own sound and like a vibe that we wanted to create for millennials and unchurched people who don't necessarily only want to hear the church sound that we like and that we used to. So we tried to create a typical sound that they're used to, but putting a godly message and a positive message on every song that we do.
Yeah, and I know a lot of my millennial friends who they didn't grow up in church. They don't really know much about church, so they can't really relate a lot to the sound that, like he said, we're so used to. I grew up in church, so I'm used to the hand clapping, foot stomping. That's what I like. That's what moves me. I'm used to it. I'm good for it. But I do also recognize that with this new generation, they will immediately shut down to anything that sounds like something that they're not used to. They won't even listen to the song. So I try, and let me just say, I appreciate all different types of music as far as the sound, the genre, the sounds of jazz, the sounds of R&B. I love music. However, I know that I would never, if I was going to do music one day, I would never do music and it's not talking about God. It's not giving people the message of God, just because I believe that's what my specific calling was. And then when I met my husband, kind of felt like our calling, the calling of God on our lives kind of just melted together. And we kind of had the same vision of, using music, which we love, to kind of bring ministry to the world. And not only the world that we're used to, our church, the culture of church, but, just secular, everybody. And we recently just released our single, Rejoice.
I want to talk about that a little bit. We're talking with my guests this morning are Quentin and Talasia Showell.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, Talasia is an artist with a new project out. Quentin is the producer of that project.
They call me
of
Joe
said
Jackson.
project. Call you Joe Jackson.
Joe Jackson.
And the project again, the name of the project is?
It's For the Love of Jesus. That's what the album is called.
And you have a single out that's being played on radio and on social media.
God is good.
And what is it?
Rejoice. It's available on all platforms.
Yes.
Please go download and purchase that. Don't just stream it. Support us. Download and purchase that. And also check out the video. I have a video done. Shout out to our bro Stephen Forte.
Stephen Forte.
Amazing videographer and photographer.
Yes.
So shout out to him and check him out, Stephen Forte on Facebook. But yeah, go check out the song Rejoice by Talasia Showell, and please download and purchase that for us.
Okay, so now you talked about, some of the things you talked about are about the millennials and reaching millennials and the challenges and the concerns and so forth. And your music, your song Rejoice, which I listen to, of course, and I love the song. And I think the song has a great message, and even the video too, I think really just demonstrates, communicates the message so very, very well, captures it so well. What's the song about? Rejoice. Now that's not a term that these young people that you talk about who don't know Jesus, that's not a term that they would be familiar with, right? So how does this song reach them?
The sound of it. The sound of it is what they can relate to. I feel like music kind of moves everybody. It's very powerful. And with the song, I believe that the sound of it is kind of what will capture you first, especially the millennials, people around my age, that'll capture you first. And then when you start listening to the words, I feel like the song is something that everybody can relate to, because we all go through life and we all, come against obstacles that we have to, get over. We come against struggles that we have to learn how to get through. And, in the song, I wanted to make sure that I talked about things that I actually went through my own self. I didn't want to relay a message of something that I never been through myself. And, we've been through struggles in our life. Being together since 15 and 16, you learn a lot, and you mess up, you make wrong choices, and you learn how to, do better the next time. And I think for us, our lesson was learning how to trust God. And that's really what Rejoiced is about, because when you go through things, because we all go through them, you kind of have to figure out, like you were saying, tools and principles and foundations on how to just get through them, period. Because you're always going to come against something. And I think the foundation and the principles that we had to learn was relying on God and his word, and allowing his word to encourage us through times when we were going through and didn't quite know what to do or how to do it. Sometimes you got to just stand still and wait on God, and that's easier said than done. But the Bible says that all things will work out for your good, and that God, he planned a future for us, and it's a future of hope and peace, and it's not for us to fail. And I think that just knowing that is something that gives you security. You know what I mean? If I know that everything's going to work out for my good, if I know that God's going to bring me through a situation, it kind of puts your mind in perspective. I don't need to worry. I don't need to stress myself out over something that God is going to work out anyway. I need to just have the posture of, okay, God, now what you want me to do? You want me to stand still, or you want me to do something? You need to have your ear to him to kind of listen. And that's what Rejoice is about. It's about rejoicing through storms and trials and situations that come to, break you in life, because God just wants to mold you. He wants to strengthen you. And that's what the song's about. It's encouragement to get through. And anybody can relate to that, whether you're in church, not in church. Anybody can relate to having to get through a struggle.
Now that's interesting, because the one thing about the gospel and music, the same message, your song and the whole idea behind your song is the same message with the same reasons that gospel music has been written and exists traditionally, because it talks about people's challenges, talks about God bringing people through struggles and situations, trusting God through all things, and no matter who you are, millennial or whatever generation you are a part of, everybody has that in common. Yeah. And so your music, you're saying, basically is the same message said in a way with a style and a flavor that will capture the ears of young people. Yes. That's important, because I think there's this challenge, there's this issue about, of course, traditional music or whatever versus contemporary kinds of things. I guess you're giving some thought to that, right? Talk about, if you can. I don't want to, I want to talk about your music, but since we're here, the idea of tradition or traditional music and the style of music that what style of music, what would say your style is?
So honestly, our music, I feel like it's not put in a genre.
Okay,
I feel
okay. But it's a contemporary flavor, right?
Yeah.
So this contemporary, talk about the traditional music.
Yes.
And traditional music and the blending of the two, or the message being blended. And here my point is, because some people struggle with that, particularly traditionalists. Yes. Struggle with change of music or sound. Talk about why that might be important from the perspective of millennials, and why it might be wise to reach millennials in that way.
Well, I think for for everyone, everything has its place. Not all the time can you use a hymn to reach someone. Like me playing the organ on a hymn to reach an unchurched person, they're not going to get that. Yeah. But somebody who's a Christian, who's been in church all their life, might have fallen away.
So unchurched people, because I think there may be a difference in unchurched people, right? Some unchurched people are millennials. Some unchurched people are traditionalists. Yes. And you will, I think, you'll reach traditional unchurched people with a traditional sound.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, I think
And-
that it's all about the mind, the perspective of it. One of the biggest things that I always say is I've read the Bible and I've researched the Bible of how they used to praise God. And in Psalms, when it talks about, praising God with, the timbrels and the different instruments and how you would use the things that you have to praise God. And never once said that hymns is the only way you're going to be able to get through a situation, or hymns is the only way you're going to reach somebody. And I think it's really important to understand that, music transcends barriers, and just the sound of music, it goes beyond what's traditional and what's not traditional. I think because of what we're used to, we can get kind of boxed in and kind of think that only one way is effective. Well, it depends on who you're trying to reach.
Right.
And I think you have to be very intentional about that.
Yeah.
And that's why our album isn't only geared towards millennials, because, I think it's very important that you are inclusive, especially when you're trying to do something. Me and my husband, we're millennials, but I grew up on the more traditional side of church as well as the more millennial side of church.
So did I. What you trying to say?
Well, both of us.
What she trying to say?
You're a year older than me. It could
You're a
be.
year older.
No, but I've kind of experienced both. I experienced before social media and after the social media age. And I think that, experiencing both of those things has kind of put things in a perspective for me, that with this album, I wanted it to be something where everyone can enjoy it. The churched, the unchurched.
And that's what I was getting to. Like, there's everything for everyone. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes you might have to play a hymn for that person who's used to that traditional sound to get through to them. But somebody who's straight off the street, we might gotta hit them with "Let's Get Right" or like one of our songs that's just like straight street trap song. Like,
So is there, I'm going to ask you two questions. I want you to answer when we come back. Is there a line that can be crossed when it comes to contemporary? Is there a line?
Yes.
I want you to just give it some thought.
yeah, good point.
And and I don't know that there is, but I think that so I want you to answer the question. My guests this morning are Quentin and Talasia Showell. Talasia
Hello,
has
everybody.
they have a new project out called Rejoice, and you can get it. You can download it on social media,
all platforms,
streaming platforms, and those of you who understand this language understand what they're talking
iTunes,
about. The rest of us,
Spotify,
iTunes,
CD Baby, all that.
So you can get it on all the, and please don't forget to download
Purchase
it.
it.
Yeah, purchase it. Don't just listen to it, but purchase it in support of the ministry, because they have got a great ministry. And so we're back in about 2 minutes, so hang in there.
Gospel 88.7 and 100.3 FM WEHA. We Have Gospel proudly celebrates its 10-year anniversary, spreading the gospel one song at a time from 2009 to 2019 and beyond. To God be the glory.
WEHA presents Up Close and Personal with stellar award-winning gospel artist and worshiper Moret Brown Clark, with special guest South Jersey's own Talasia Showell. The Princess of Praise and Worship, Moret Brown Clark. Friday, July 19th at Beacon Hall, 243 St. Louis Avenue, Egg Harbor City, New Jersey. Doors open at 6:30. Praise starts at 7 p.m. sharp. Tickets just $29.99. Available online at WeHaveGospel.com. That's WeHaveGospel.com. Or phone 609-641-8870. That's 609-641-8870. It's time to get up close and personal with the Princess of Praise and Worship, Moret Brown Clark at Beacon Hall. Powered by Gospel 88.7 WEHA. Spreading the gospel one song at a time. Don't miss it.
I want God. All I ever wanted was God. And I don't want to give him
You are listening
second
to
best.
Christ-centered, community-focused, listener-supported gospel. 88.7 and 100.3 FM, Atlantic City, WEHA. Don't forget to follow us on social media by searching We Have Gospel on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Find out more at www.wehavegospel.com.
I don't
to my head lower than the ground.
Just when you think you're not able to make it through,
Something supernatural comes over you.
a power.
We're here to tell you that it is attainable.
The joy of the Lord is my strength.
We're talking about the joy of the Lord.
The joy of the Lord is my strength.
And welcome back to Bishop John R. Gandy Live. Bishop John Gandy Live. I'm going to get this together. Say it 3 more times, and you'll get it right. I'm here this morning in the studio with Talasia and Quentin Shoel, and they've got an exciting project. Before we get back to talking with them, though, I want to make a couple of quick announcements. First of all, I want to announce that speaking of Talasia Shoel, she'll be in opening for an event that's being sponsored by Beacon Hall. Marriott Brown Clark Marette Brown Clark is going to be at Beacon Hall on Friday, July 19th at 7 p.m. And that's at 243 St. Louis Avenue in Egg Harbor City. If you would like to get tickets to this live concert, you can call 609-641-8870 or go onto our website at www.wehavegospel.com. And Talasia Shoel will be opening up for Moret Brown Clark,
Yes,
and that is
good.
exciting.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, isn't that exciting?
Yes,
so,
sir.
So I'm happy for you, and excited for you as well. And also, you're going to be having a musical.
Yes, a debut concert.
A debut concert. Talk about that.
July 15th. That's
Yes.
going to be amazing. It's going to be an amazing night. We got
Yeah.
we got my brother Rasheem Chambry coming down.
Shout out to Rashid.
Yeah, Rasheem Chambry and AWAM, they are
They're
amazing.
awesome.
They're out of Camden, New Jersey. They're going to come down. They're going to be great. We got my bro D-Hut. And we actually have a. Should we tell them about the other part?
Nope. Gotta leave some surprises.
We got a little
Got some
surprise,
surprises.
different little surprise worship element. But it's gonna be dope. You know, it's gonna be a nice, different atmosphere, different type of vibe. I got my whole, all my brothers coming to play with me.
Cool,
Donald,
man.
Hack, Ray Hollis will be playing the extra drum set with me. LaShawn Thomas is coming down to play bass, and Brass Sanity Horns. I don't know if y'all familiar with them, but
Oh,
they are.
wow.
Sanity
Brass
Horns.
Sanity
Brass-
Horns.
Shout out to
Brass
them. Shout out
Sanity
to Ken.
Horns.
Bishop heard them on New Year's night, and
Oh,
he was
man.
he was
Yes.
wild
Church.
away.
They were
Yes.
awesome, yeah.
They were amazing. I just love them. I'm just thankful. I'm excited. This concert is basically going to be our coming out concert as, artist and as a producer. And we're going to be doing 6 songs from our album. We have 10 or 11. We're still trying to figure out if we're going to add certain songs or keep certain songs out. But our album's going to consist of 10 or 11 songs. And out of those 10 or 11, we're singing 6 of them that night. So if you want to come and hear, what we have, we encourage you to come out. It's a Monday night. It's in the summer. So come out, have a good time. You're going to be fed.
Yeah, it's gonna be some good food afterwards.
Yes.
Fish and chicken.
I'll be there.
Food brings everybody. But yes, it's going to be a blessed
Excellent.
night of praise and worship.
Excellent. Well, that's all exciting stuff. I'm so happy for the ministry, because it is about ministry.
Yes, sir.
And that's one thing that I do admire about what you do, what you guys are doing, and you're committed to the gospel,
Yes, sir.
and committed to seeing other young people, won to Christ.
Yes.
And I think music is certainly one of the ways that happens, and nothing is more powerful than just music. It just kind of, as you said earlier, it just kind of penetrates all the barriers. So that's exciting. So what do you see, or what are you envisioning for the future? What are your goals? What are you wishing the Lord to do through this ministry?
You want me to take it?
Yeah, tag you're in.
Well, honestly, I'm praying. I tell my wife all the time, I'm praying for our music to make it big, not for us to be famous or for us to be rich, but for us to network and meet the right people and reach the right people, for us to, really complete. I don't want to fully go into detail of what our full mission is right now, and we'll do that eventually.
At the concert.
At the concert.
Yeah.
But we have a full actual mission and a plan to actually build the next generation through our teachings from our church and through the plan from our church, but we've actually expounded on it through some things that we want to do, some nonprofit things. So our music is really just like the conversation starter and the door opener into doing everything. Like, so I don't want anybody thinking that we're trying to get rich off of our music, off of the gospel or anything, trying to get famous. None of that. I mean, if the fame comes, good. Like, if the money comes, good. You can't do anything without money, and you need fame to be able to accomplish certain goals and certain tasks.
So you're not allergic to fame or?
Oh, I ain't allergic to it. It's needed, but that's not our goal.
That's
and
right.
That's not our aim.
That's very important.
Our goal and our aim is to live for the next generation.
And the biblical principle is seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness,
Exactly.
and all these things will be added.
Absolutely, and I believe one of the biggest things me and Quentin always talked about is, going outside the music, just because, like we said, we want our music to be a conversation starter. That's the first step in it, and we want people to know. I think that people have a misconception about those who go to church. We're stuck up, we're judgmental. I done heard it all, and I think that it's very important for the church to show what they're about, especially in these days, because our goal is to win souls to the kingdom of God, and that's through our music, that's through the things that we want to do throughout our community. We have a whole lot of things that we're working on at this point aside from music that we're kind of getting in the works, because we really believe the next generation is going to do something powerful just for the kingdom of God. And we believe that it's going to take for those who understand what's needed. It's going to take for those who are willing to first discipline themselves. I remember, I know you're our bishop, but today we're not going to act like you're our bishop. Our bishop was in church one Sunday morning, and he was preaching about.
I wish y'all could see how you over there cheesing.
Yeah, he was.
I'm just nervous what you're going to say.
Don't be nervous. He was preaching about just some people have the call in their lives to help others, but you cannot help others until you help yourself, until you are in a place where you can be a resource to others, and when you're stable. So we understood that there were some things in our personal life that we kind of had to align. We kind of had to set in order, because even though the call on your life, God is not going to give you more than you can handle. You have to be a good steward over level 1 before God elevates you to level 2. Absolutely. And we wanted to make sure that in our personal lives and everything surrounding it, that we were aligned with what God said we needed to be doing at this point, so that the calling on our life can be fulfilled, and so that the things that we need to do can be fulfilled. And we're passionate about it. We're serious about it. And, we know a lot of powerful millennial friends that we have that we're praying that jump on board with us. It's going to take a village to do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's going to take a village to do it. But I think that it's important, and it needs to be talked about, and it needs to be done. And we signed up for the challenge. We told God yes. So
and again, these what you're talking about are very fundamental, basic, universal ideas.
Yes.
And I think that sometimes the whole argument, the whole millennial way it's presented by others gets exaggerated and gets a little distorted, because everybody has to have basic fundamental principles and have their life in order,
right?
Be set in a place where you can help others. Those are just fundamental kinds of ideas, and I think that sometimes we do a disservice, perhaps in the church conversation. I think that disservice is we make everything be so extremely
churchy
or whatever, And the truth is, the scripture is not about religion or about church. It's about you living this life, and having a life of course, honoring God, and then not living a life that's prosperous and successful and fulfilling to you, and that serves other people, God's children. So that's important stuff. So so you get your house in order, you put your ducks in a row, and you position yourselves where you can be able to bless other people, and that's what you're I understand you said you're doing, and that's exciting. And again, so you had another song on your project that you did in the concert you did at the church. I think it was probably one of my favorites, and it was called Heaven.
Yes.
And it was an awesome song. My guest this morning again is Talasia Shoel. She's an artist. She has a new project out called Rejoice. Her husband Quentin Shoel is with her. He is producer of the project, and it's an awesome project. And Talasia has got some music out there that's you can get right now. It's a single on social media platforms, all social media platforms,
All streaming
All streaming.
platforms
all
as well.
streaming, all streaming platforms. Yes. So, help me get my language together here.
Yes.
I'm not a millennial, and but I'm trying.
You're doing all right, Bishop.
doing
You're
real
doing all
good.
right. You're doing all right.
But anyway, but please go to those live streaming or those streaming platforms and download the project to support the ministry. I wanted you all to talk about ministry in this way this morning to communicate to people what your vision is and what your aim is, and it's about ministry.
Yes, sir.
And I admire it. I'm very proud of you. You're young, and your hearts are in the right place, and I see you working hard at it, and you've done an incredible job with the music.
Thank you
Everything
so
was just
much.
awesome. As much as we pushed you and all that,
Yeah.
what came out of it was like something that was just blew my mind.
Wow,
You know,
thank
it
you.
was awesome. So we're so very, very proud of you. And of course, there's a video out. You can see the video online.
Yes.
And Stephen Forte is the videographer.
Yes, he is.
And what an awesome. Where can they see the video at? On YouTube, right?
So you can find it on YouTube. You can follow us on our social media page. Talasia Showell Music is on Facebook, and you can see the music video there. Make sure if you go to YouTube, subscribe to our channel so you can see all of the future videos that we are going to have. But our YouTube channel is under Talasia Showell. You can see our music video there as well. Share, like, comment. Share it with your family and your friends, and everybody needs to rejoice. Everybody needs encouragement. So just
Amen.
make sure you share it, and I hope you enjoy it.
So if they want to reach you or book you for an event, how do they contact you?
You can contact me at TalasiaShowellMusic@gmail.com.
Talasia Showell Music at gmail.com
Yes.
to book Talasia Showell.
Yes.
Incredible, very, very blessed project.
Thank
and
you.
I really felt it. The music is like, the music is
It's fresh.
it's fresh,
right?
You know, and it's not like out there. It's not
Right.
something I can't understand. you know?
Exactly,
I feel,
and
you know,
I appreciate that you said that, because
Yeah.
that's one thing that we wanted to convey. Because when we went online and we were playing some of our music, it does sound a little bit out of the box, but we have music that's for like some parts of the song,
Yeah.
but it always comes together and it sounds like a complete song. People will be looking. You say you're not doing gospel, regular gospel. What you got? No, it's something for everybody.
Yeah,
Like
it is.
we're doing stuff for
Yes.
everybody. It's and the album actually has some reggae music on it, some worshipful music, like so.
We go to church.
Yeah, we go to
You take
church
it to
on
church.
it. So it's
Something for everybody.
And if you know where we come from, we go to
Yeah.
church.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
we like the church.
And what
so-
you're saying is kind of like where the rub is, because this whole conversation about meeting today's generation, sometimes it gets it's hard to have the conversation because I don't think it's yet clear.
Yes.
It's not a clearly defined conversation yet, because things are still in transition,
Yes.
and it hasn't yet come full.
Yes.
You know, fully to where it's going to be.
Right.
So, but I appreciate you all for helping to bring some clarity to that conversation, and adding some things to it for people, especially those who are my generation. And it's not about trying to force anyone out of their comfort zone.
No.
Whatever you like,
Whatever you like, I love
I
it.
love it.
I love it.
You know what I'm saying?
I love it.
You know?
Exactly.
But I am trying to help y'all learn real safe music.
Bring those hymns out.
Bring those hymns out. But the gospel is just powerful all by itself. Actually.
Yes, sir.
So thank you so very, very much, Talasia and Quentin Showell.
Thank
And
you
again,
for
they
having
can,
us.
if they want to reach you again for a
Booking.
booking,
TalasiaShowellMusic@gmail.com.
Sunday mornings, come check us out.
Abundant
Abundant
Life.
Life Worship Center, 32 New York Avenue, or if you
Bishop.
got a Apple or iPhone, 32 Bishop Gandy, John Gandy Drive, and we start at 10 a.m.
yeah, Bishop John R. Gandy Avenue.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
get them together.
I
Get it
said
together.
drive. I'm sorry. I
Put
said
some
drive.
respect.
Thank y'all so put some respect.
Some
on it.
respect.
With a K. But thank y'all so much for being here.
Thank
and,
you for having
I'm
us.
so proud of you, and God bless you. Wish you well. All right, we're going to go to a quick break right here. We're going to take about 2 minutes. Hang in there. Be right back.
event coming up and need a facility? Well, let me tell you about Atlantic County's newest banquet facility, Beacon Hall, located in the heart of Egg Harbor City, right off the White Horse Pike. Beacon Hall is a full-service banquet facility that is 5,000 square feet with an attached parking lot. Book your conferences, book signings, birthday parties, bridal showers, baby showers, weddings, repasts. No event is too big or too small. You can book your next event by calling us at 609-965-4255 or email us at bookbeaconhall@gmail.com. That's BOOKBEACONHALL @gmail.com. Try Beacon Hall, where we turn moments into cherished memories. Join hosts Lisa Thomas L. and Julie Farmer, Atlantic City Municipal Alliance, chairperson and coordinator for Atlantic City's Beacon of Light, a community broadcast focusing on drug and alcohol awareness, education, and prevention, also featuring guest speakers who work in the drug and alcohol recovery field. Sponsored by the Governor's Council on Drug and Alcohol Abuse, every Monday from 4:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. right here on WEHA.
WEHA presents Up Close and Personal with stellar award-winning gospel artist and worshiper Moret Brown Clark with special guest South Jersey's own Talacia Showell. The Princess of Praise and Worship, Moret Brown Clark. Friday, July 19th at Beacon Hall, 243 St. Louis Avenue, Egg Harbor City, New Jersey. Doors open at 6:30. Praise starts at 7 p.m. sharp. Tickets just $29.99. Available online at wehavegospel.com. That's wehavegospel.com. Or phone 609-641-8870. That's 609-641-8870. It's time to get up close and personal with the Princess of Praise and Worship, Moret Brown Clark at Beacon Hall. Powered by Gospel 88.7 WEHA. Spreading the gospel one song at a time. Don't miss it.
I want God. All I ever wanted was God. And I don't want to give him second best.
And welcome back to Bishop John Gandy Live. Thank you for being here this morning. I want to, again, just take a minute to acknowledge and thank our sponsors. Freedom City Bike Club, located at 29 West Delilah Road, one of our new sponsors in Pleasantville, New Jersey. And the phone number there is 609-705-2519. They specialize in refurbished bicycle sales, parts, and repairs. They also have a new bicycle selection as well. And they take trade-ins on your bicycle. And their slogan is "No Bike Left Behind." They're open Mondays through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. and on Sundays, 9 to 5. Open every day. That's interesting. If you want to get more information, call Freedom City Bike Club at 609-705-2519 and ask for James Bussey. And also Beacon Hall. I want to thank Beacon Hall, turning moments into memories. Beacon Hall is located at 243 St. Louis Avenue in Egg Harbor City, New Jersey. Phone number there is 609-965-4255. If you have a need for a banquet facility, Beacon Hall is the place. And also Abundant Life Worship Center Church, located at 32 Bishop John R. Gandy Avenue in Egg Harbor City. Thank all of our sponsors for sponsoring our program. And we've having a studio with me. Do we have the music? Can we pull the music up? No, we don't. Okay, so we had on earlier, our guest was Talacia and Quentin Showell, and I want to encourage you to download their. I think we're going to be able to play the song in a minute, but it really is a really great song. Don't forget, we're here every Thursday morning between the hours of 8 and 9 a.m. I want to give a shout out to my wife, who may be listening, or she may be chasing the grandchildren around the hotel room. And we're celebrating our 39th wedding anniversary on yesterday. So we entered into our 40th year of marriage, and God has been just awesomely good to us. And I have a wonderful wife, and I appreciate her so much. We've had just a great marriage. We were talking yesterday, as a matter of fact, about our marriage and the years of marriage, and kind of what we try to think of the most difficult time that we've had in marriage, and and we couldn't come up with anything. It's been either all good or all bad. Either way, it's all the same. But it's been awesome. God has blessed us with 39 years, so we're really excited. I want to play a little bit of Talasia Showell's her single that's out presently, which you can get on all live streaming platforms. It's called Rejoice.
Yeah.
Listen, it's great music. Listen.
World didn't give me this joy, so I won't let them take it away. God's covered me in His grace, His grace, His grace. His grace and mercy covers me daily, and I know that He'll never fail me, no. He'll never leave me or forsake me, and because of that, Lord, I will. Trials may come and break you, but Jesus, He wants to make you, renew you, and He wants to recreate you, then put you in a better situation, to level up and make you super sane. Call Him Superman, cause He wants to save your day. Don't get discouraged if things don't go your way, cause at the end of the day, there's only one way, and His way's the right way. There's no other way around it. You may be going through, but don't forget, you gotta rejoice through it. Always and again the same. I will. Always and again the same. I will. I know I can depend on you, Lord, so I will.
And that's a sample of Rejoice, the new single out by Talasia Showell, which you can download on all streaming platforms. And please don't forget to purchase the song to help and bless this young couple in their ministry. So we're going to say goodbye, and I want to just say that we have a new. If you're online, then you know that we have got a new app that we are familiarizing ourselves with. It's a little bit jagged this morning, but I promise you it will get much better. And thank Cool Hands over here on the soundboard. Cool Hands. I mean, she's she's cool and handling and just smooth and keeping the atmosphere right as we are trying to use this new app. So thank you, Kristen. Thank you, Kristen Easton, for our board op this morning. All right, thank you so much. We're back on next week. Quentin and Talasia, any parting words?
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for all the guidance and everything throughout the years.
Yeah.
Yes. And to all the listeners, God loves you.
Amen. God bless you. Amen. All right, thank you. See you next week.
Gospel 88.7 WEHA. It's more.